my friends, Simon Miller here, and 2021 is coming to an end. Can't say I'm going to be too sad because it has been a crazy 12 months, but WWE has a new bag, baby, and it's running a pay-per-view on the 1st of January. So as that is happening at the weekend, it is time to take my brain and take your brain, make sure you predict your own in the comments below, and figure out what the hell is going to happen at this show, because let's face it, who actually has a clue? And we will start with the Raw Tag Team titles, which is going to see RK Bro taking on the Street Profits, which has been a long time coming. And it all depends what WWE's plans for WrestleMania are. I know that's a weird thing to say, but just bear with me. When we do get to the biggest calendar wrestling show of the year, I think we should be doing Randy Orton versus Riddle, where Riddle is the bad guy and Randy Orton is the good guy, or at least when Riddle has screwed over Randy, mostly because for the last, 6 months, Randy's been like, I don't like you, you're a horrible person, give you a hug. I don't like you, you're a horrible person, give you a hug. That's just not very nice. It's also the far fresher way to go because we've seen Randy Orton as the heel time and time again, and I actually think then you could move away from the comedy stuff when it comes to Riddle and give him a serious edge. So if this is the plan and you want to pull the trigger soon, you could at least start teasing it at the Day One pay-per-view. Maybe Riddle does make a mistake, Randy Orton yells at him, this costs them the tag team titles, you give it to the Street Profits, and maybe then you try and have a rematch, which usually I'd be against, but it makes sense here. Riddle makes another mistake, Randy Orton scallops him once again, don't know how you scallop someone, don't even worry about it. That's when Riddle boots him in the face, and then I will be a happy panda. And as much as I love RK Bro, this is actually a tag team you do want to end eventually because you probably do get more worth of them as single stars. Whereas when it comes to the Street Profits, they are a fantastic tag team. And straight away, I hear people going, oh man, we should give Montez Ford a push. Yes, but not now, and not next year, and not the year after that. Let's make them a legendary duo, and then see what else they can do. So this is why I am going for the Street Profits, and it's going to be after Riddle makes some kind of error that isn't really an error, but Randy Orton treats it like an error. I understand that I could word this a little bit better, but you know what I'm talking about. So Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, go out there and prove this bald moron right. Then we do get a very weird match. It's Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss. Now I really do like Madcap and Happy Corbin because they're such goofs and I like goofiness in my wrestling, but do not forget on a recent episode of SmackDown, Drew McIntyre just claymored Moss and he pinned him for the 1-2-3. And I think it would be a really bad idea if he just did that again. I know you're going, oh, Simon, it's Drew McIntyre. Yes, but we also need to build new stars and we clearly think that Madcap Moss is worth something. So given that Corbin is on the outside of the ring and it's WWE, just let him cause the distraction. Don't get me wrong, I'll get mad at him, be a massive hypocrite, but do that, let Madcap Moss win, and then try and give him somewhat of a push. I mean, it won't go anywhere because we'll do 50-50 booking and we'll do the third match where Drew McIntyre will win. But look, if we're gonna do this feud, at least try to make something of it, and don't just let Drew kill him with his sword, stabby stabby, and move on to whatever's next, because otherwise, well, it was actually a waste of my life. So, somewhat controversially, I'm going for Madcap Moss. The Raw Women's Championship is also on the line when Becky Lynch has her rematch, see what I just say, against Liv Morgan, and it's kind of hard to get excited about this because I just don't think Liv is gonna win. And look, if it turns out that I'm wrong, ooh dalali, I will do the dance of joy, but I just can't see WWE doing it. And actually, if it did end with Big Time Bex once again hitting the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up, and holding the ropes, I would just go, yeah, okay, cool. And on another secret, don't tell anyone because people will get mad, sometimes, as much as I like Liv Morgan and think she will be a super duper star down the line, it just doesn't feel like it's time. Look at my shoulders in the shrug emoji position. And the real problem with all of this, of course, is that Liv Morgan should probably already be the champion as a bad guy, and Becky Lynch should be the challenger as a good guy. Because we've talked about it time and time again. Becky Lynch's music hits, whoa, she comes out, everybody cheers, and then she has to try and get them to boo. Whereas when Liv Morgan was talking recently, I was like, man, she's been a little bit vicious here, and she sneaked into Becky's training ground and tried to beat her up. So all of this is just wrong. But it's not like they won't have a good match. I did quite enjoy what they did last time, but yeah, there's going to be no sense of disbelief for me because I'll watch the whole thing. I bet it goes like 8 minutes and I'll be going, Becky Lynch will win, Becky Lynch will win, Becky Lynch will win, and then Becky Lynch will win and I will be pleased because it means I got my prediction right, but it worries me what we do to Liv Morgan then because WWE is very good at picking people up and then just dropping them into the abyss. Point is, Lynch retains. And we're also getting Edge versus The Miz. And hands up when Edge returned if you thought you were going to see this match. And goes down. Now I do think it can actually be quite good, and I really enjoyed the wedding segment we did on Raw because it was just wrestling stupidness done right. But Edge has to win this. I do not want to see Edge versus The Miz too. And in fact, when we get to the Royal Rumble, I would like Edge to face an AJ Styles or a Kevin Owens or somebody like that. But if we do it, it means we'll get shenanigans here, we'll get nonsense. And I suppose there is the off chance that what WWE does want to do at WrestleMania is Miz and Maurice versus Edge and Beth Phoenix. So you will get something dumb on day one. I really don't want it. It's too many shenanigans. I can't get past that fact. I just cannot get past it. There's a reason Beth Phoenix keeps being mentioned as Adam Copeland's wife, in case you are a watcher and you don't know that. So yes, The Miz will win here because Maurice does something, and then we'll get to Raw, and Beth Phoenix will be back, which is really cool, and it'll be nice that she does team up with her husband. I don't know, one would have been enough for me, especially because of the other dream matches that I just said. But yeah, The Miz is going to do it. Who the flub thought that was ever going to happen? The SmackDown Tag Team titles are also going to be defended because the Usos are taking on the New Day. And I already know exactly what's going to happen here because I think I've seen it 72,911 times. And at the very least, they will have a proper good match. Once again, this all ties into what you're going to be doing with Roman Reigns. I don't think he's going to be losing his Universal Championship, which we will talk about in a second. And if that's the case, you want to keep the bloodline strong. But if you do that, I have no idea what you do with Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. I mean, they can't just keep feuding with Jimmy and Jey Uso, even though WWE seems intent on doing it. This one does become a little bit more confusing than I would have thought otherwise, but I shall stick with the Usos, which is also kind of dumb, because now we have gone through multiple tag team titles and only one has changed hands, but you only need to change one, that's enough, so you can give it to the Street Profits. But yes, I'll back up the Usos and maybe Roman Reigns does something. I don't know, although I suppose they could lose. You know what? It doesn't even matter. I'm picking Jimmy and Jey. And as we have just mentioned, the head of the table, why don't we do him taking on Brock Lesnar for that Universal title? And the centerpiece of all of this, there he is sitting in my hand, will be Paul Heyman. Now I am going out on a limb here because I think we have been rused. I think these two have pulled a fast one. And I think before Roman Reigns did punch him in the face, Paul Heyman was like, tee, I've got a really good idea. Why don't we trick Brock Lesnar? You beat me up, I will gain Brock's confidence, but then when we get to the pay-per-view, I will swerve him, meaning you keep that championship. This probably is a good idea because I don't think even if they do rematch at WrestleMania that Brock Lesnar is going to get that title because I totally believe that WWE has that spot reserved for somebody else. However, it's Brock flipping Lesnar, the end-level boss of WWE, so if you need to do stupid stuff the entire time, such as Paul Heyman screwing him over, well, really, that's what you should do, because it's just nice that at least one person on that roster feels, ironically, like a beast. Of course, the big question is, well, what does Paul Heyman do here? Well, he could hit Brock Lesnar with the title, and Brock Lesnar no-sells it, and then turns around and Roman Reigns is like, here's 78 spears. I don't care. It makes sense, it works, it puts Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns back together after we had all the fun with the story, and that's what you should be doing. And once more, if we are going to go back to a WrestleMania, at least there's a reason, and you could even have Roman go, well, you're never going to get another opportunity, and then Lesnar wins the Rumble. I know, it's a little bit like, oh, why can't it be somebody else? But do you remember how good that Brock was in that last Rumble when he was awesome? Exactly. So now I've just predicted the Royal Rumble too. Very sorry about that, I'm ruining a future video. Roman Reigns win here, and Brock Lesnar wins the Royal Rumble. Which does bring us to our main event, which is Big E versus Bobby Lashley versus Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens. And all I know about this one is that it's going to be flubbing great. Up. Sorry, wrong show. Now, the smallest part of me, this part down here, thinks that Kevin Owens may be about to win the WWE title. I mean, he just signed a new contract. He must have been promised something other than money to make him go, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. And he has been so good recently. Now, I don't want Big E to lose because Big E is my hero and I love him more than life himself. But if everybody else in this match was going to get the W, man, would I like it to be KO. I mean, he hasn't been a world champion since 2016. That is dumb. And I suppose the other thing we have to take into account here is what does Bobby Lashley do throughout all of this? Because he is slowly becoming a babyface, which I'm also for. The other question you have to ask yourself is why is 3 other people in this thing if the goal isn't to take the championship off Big E? Like, it'd be awesome if he did win because he can come out on Monday and go, I defeated 3 other people. but there's, like I said, there's just something inside me that thinks it's going to go to Kevin Owens, or there's an outside bet that it goes to Seth Rollins. And you know that all of them are going to continue feuding afterwards anyway, because Bobby will become a good guy and he can team with Big E for a while to take on these two. So this is a tough one to call. So here's what I want you to do. Go and put your suggestion in the comment box now. I'm going to give myself 5 seconds to think about it, and I'm going to do it. I think it will actually be Big E, but that's boring. I am going to say, for no reason other than I want it, that Kevin Owens, come this time next week, will be the brand new WWE champion. Asterisk, he won't be, it will still be Big E. But I've said it now, and I mean it, and I want to see your answers too. So yes, as already said, the comment box is there, not for me, but for you to let me know your predictions, and I always go through them, and sometimes people come up with wonderful ideas that make me go, damn it, why didn't I think of that? And when we are done, like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com. We will keep you up to date with everything before the pay-per-view and everything after the pay-per-view, including the ongoing crazy story with Tony Storm. Make sure you come follow us on social media, because it's 2021, almost 2022, and that's what we should all do. And also make sure you watch as many videos as possible, because it makes me feel good. My name is Simon from What Culture. As I've been saying on other videos, as we do approach the end of 2021 and move into 2022, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the support, for watching, for caring, for engaging. Even the people that go, Simon, I want you to fall off a cliff. As long as you care, I don't mind. Happy New Year. See you soon.